And I'd like to welcome all of you. Thanks for coming out. If you could turn your cell phones on mute, that would be great, so we won't hear ringing. And I'm Gary Kracoff. I've been here since 2000, a few years. I'm a pharmacist. I also have my degree in naturopathic medicine and homeopathy. And this is Tamara, and she's a functional dietitian that came on board about a year ago. And Bridget isn't here today. She's another one. And with the three of us, we work with a lot of people trying to help keep them healthy, get healthier, figure out imbalances, what they can do. I'm working a lot now on the DNA and going right down into the mitochondria. And Tamara does a lot on, of course, the foods and healthy eating and the digestive system. And I'm going to read my list so I can just talk forever, and I don't want to today. Okay, many of us are finding that we have some chronic problems. And mainstream medicine, we do all sorts of lab tests, and they come back normal. The doctor says, well, you're cold and don't have energy, but your thyroid's fine. So it isn't that. Then you go to the endocrinologist, and they say, oh, your female hormones are fine, it must be your thyroid. Then every once in a while, I guess someone suggests, maybe it's psychological and you should see a therapist. And maybe you should, but we need to expand where we're looking, because the mainstream tests and therapies are wonderful. Thank God we have them, but things are changing, and we're involved on many different planes, not just the physical or the emotional plane. And I personally didn't understand the interconnectivity of getting out into way out there. And now I realize it really isn't way out there, it's way down deep in us. So emotions, toxins, food, diet, relationships, and our genetics are very important, and they can all play into our health. So I'm looking at DNA testing, where it's amazing what I learned in pharmacy school, and we had to memorize, and they told us to forget about it because you could never understand it or do anything with it. Now we're realizing we're testing over 200,000 genes. We're getting into the mitochondria and looking at the pathway. But the problem is a lot of the mainstream practitioners are testing for MTHFR. You don't methylate folic acid. And we need that. So then they give you large doses of methylfolate, and most people tank and feel worse. With the genetics, what I've learned is you have to look at all the different genes, all the different pathways, so you get right into the mitochondria, then go up to 10,000 feet and look at the whole picture and how do they all interrelate. It's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun, and it works really well. Just some examples. There's now, because of the DNA research, there's a product called H2 Infuse. You drop it in a glass of water, it saturates the water with hydrogen, and then you drink it right down. What we found is a lot of us, especially if we're stressed, that have chronic inflammation, we're generating, and I won't get too technical, too many free radicals. The hydrogen water can help the body break those down, and a lot of people are finding pathways stop working and inflammation goes down just from hydrogen, the simplest element that we have in the universe. Another one is nitric oxide. We think of that as Viagra and erectile dysfunction, but people with poor circulation, cold hands and feet, people who have high blood pressure, having normal amounts of nitric oxide can affect multiple pathways. Now, after the lecture, before you have another piece of chocolate upstairs, if you come up, I have some test strips. You hold one end of it in your mouth for 5 seconds, get saliva on the pad, put the two ends together, and you can measure and quantify your level of nitric oxide. Then by taking a supplement, and this one is a natural one that comes from a certain red beet, an organic beet, that helps the body make nitric oxide. So after if you are low, if you take that for a couple of weeks and then you retest, you'll see your nitric oxide levels up. So don't forget to ask me for a strip, and you can do it. Tamara and Bridget and I have been working very closely with a lot of you, and I met Laura a while ago. She's a friend, she's a fellow practitioner, and she's also one of my practitioners. and I gave her permission if she needs to use some of the things that we discussed as illustrations. It's perfectly fine. But one thing I've found over the years, Laura works on a totally different plane. She might say, she'll send someone down and say, what you're doing is right, but this area is out of balance, this needs to be addressed. She might not know that's my wheelhouse, what needs to be addressed there, but with everything I was looking at, that never came up. So working together, we're expanding how we can help people. And now Tamara and I and Bridget and Laura have sort of figured out for a lot of people it will probably be very helpful to work together. So Laura has agreed to work with us on the consults, on our consults, and sit in on them, and then work with the person for part of that consult, so we're getting much broader expense, much broader understanding.
It will be a little bit more broad expense.
Yeah,
just a little bit, yeah.
And I'd just like to introduce Tamara for a minute, and then you're all here to find out what Laura does, so we'll let her do her thing.
Yeah, and I think, so I'm one of the functional dietitians here, and I love being here because I love being able to talk to people one-on-one and get a little bit of a deeper dive into what's going on with someone than I was able to when I was in a hospital setting. And like Gary said, and kind of our whole philosophy and here at Johnson's and how Laura fits so great into this is finding out that why piece of what's going on in this unique person at this exact time. And she can kind of help us dive deeper into the science that we already do and the testing that we already do and figure out how we can serve you best and help you reach your own goals. So that's really exciting.
And I'm just going to pass this around. If anyone hasn't signed up for that 10 minutes with Laura, you can just pass that around. Don't want anyone to miss it. And it's all yours. If it gets too warm or too cold, just I'll be in the back here, let me know. I can change the temperature.
Thank you. Okay, so I'll tell you a little bit about my history and how I figured that I was a medical intuitive. It was 1974, and my grandmother on my mom's side was starting to have a lot of symptoms of Parkinson's. And I would go and visit her, and after the visit, I would start to have Parkinson's symptoms. I was shaky, and I couldn't really, my speech was slurred. In fact, if I even think about it right now, I could start to have an issue with like, whoa, I can remember that experience and have that happen. And my dad's mother was deaf. She was turning deaf, or she was actually deaf. And when I would visit her after her visit, I wouldn't be able to hear as well. And so after like 3 or 4 hours of shaking and running around like a 6-year-old would do, I would be back to my normal self. And that was sort of all until you fast forward to the point where there was this sense that I knew that I just kept losing myself and picking up what was going on for other people. And if that was happening physiologically, it was certainly happening emotionally and mentally. And so I really, at first, it was really hard. Probably the first 33 years of my life was incredibly difficult to ground into my body. But I have figured out how to do that, so now I am able not only, and one of the things was really turning that intuition from outside into inside, and being able to identify whether I want to be someone else's medical intuitive or my own medical intuitive. And so I would imagine that we are a room full of people who, whether you know it or not, probably are having these experiences. And at the end of today, I have 2 goals. One is to really connect you individually to your personal medical intuitive, the way that you personally intuit the things that are going on for your body and for others, and really truly the personal way. And then the second goal is to give you some tools as to how you can strengthen that, how you become more aware of when you're picking up something that's going on for someone else, and more aware and closer into languaging really deep into your body what's going on for you. So those are my goals. And as I was thinking about, I'm excited. As I was thinking about intuition, I was thinking about, this is like a language. I am constantly talking to my body and really, really languaging. And I started to think about, how do we learn a language? And the first language, if we have this window of opportunity when we're 1 and 2 years old, one of the reasons language is so easy to pick up is that it is sensory first, and you're being given one word. So you feel something, you see something, you don't have a word, and then you get to get that word. So it becomes a ball. And the reason second languages, I think, are harder is that you're not necessarily experiencing the ball or the sense, but you're connecting now what is a ball in German to the ball in English, and it's not as connected. So as we're talking about languaging and learning a language, your own body's language, this is going to be like learning a new language, but we're going to go back to when you're 1 or 2, and you're learning that language from a sensory place. So it's going to be really easy. All right, so I was also thinking, how do we learn a language? And so this is what we're going to do today. It's going to be very organized, and we're going to sort of debunk this, oh my gosh, I could never be a medical intuitive. I could never intuit what's going on in my own body. So to learn a new language, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to individually set our own individual goals. We're going to talk about key words that, in every language, if you learn the first 500 words in the language, you can essentially survive in that culture. So we're going to talk about the key words that you would start to language with your body. We're going to talk about your specific way that you study, how you learn, how you memorize, how you really tap into things. Some people are very metaphoric, some people are smells, some people are feelings. I would imagine a lot of people here are probably feeling, sensing, some type of empathic experience. We are then going to do some immersion exercises to really be able to personally, and if I can, and you can raise your hand if you don't, we can either do it raise your hand if you do or don't want assistance while we're doing that. That would be really fun. That's exercise 1 and 2. And then we're going to talk about, after those exercises, how to seek real life practice. What do you do as you walk out of here to actually take what you've learned and keep doing it? Another thing that you do with the language is you learn the culture of the language, so we'll go into that. Relate to the language, and then practice and build confidence, and that will be our third exercise that we'll go into here, and I can as well help at that point. So that's our plan. So the first thing, everybody get your pens and paper or your mind together, and you're going to set a goal. So we're at the beginning of 2020. We're going to give ourselves 1 year to sort of build whatever it is that you want to do for your as your own medical intuitive. So the first is, I will be able to understand what my body is telling me to a small degree. That might be the easiest goal. Or I will become proficient in intuiting my body's senses. All kinds of, do I need more iron? Do I need more lead? Is my bladder starting to get infected? What's going on with my microbiome? Or, truly, I will become a professional medical intuitive. So sort of think right now about what your goal is if you didn't have one before coming. We're going to set that goal. And then we're going to talk about key words. So as I was sitting here thinking about this, I was thinking I kind of wish I had put this later in the slides, but I think this is okay where it is, because it is. So the key words are things that we are going to hear our bodies say. So it's things like, am I nervous, am I calm? Is this high or low? Like, are my iron levels high or low? as is my spleen healthy or is it in dysfunction? Should I do this? Yes or no? Should I take this supplement? Yes or no? So if you think about it, you can amass maybe 100 words, and they usually are sort of opposites. And if you wrote a list of 100 words that you would be able to identify, and I would love other ideas. Anyone have any other ideas of what you would want to learn from your body?
Yes or no sounds about right.
Yeah.
One yes or no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So, yeah.
Sometimes we stop using muscles or we're fast to stop using them. So like maybe what am I not using or what have I, adapted to not use that and
Yes.
get it to fire up again?
Yes.
When it should be?
Yep. And you could do strong or weak. So as you're moving through your body, is it strong or weak? You've got to have some.
Well, I would say like serves you, or is it just like either supports you or
It doesn't support you.
doesn't
Yeah.
support you?
So let's see. There are other ones that I usually use that they fly through as you. It's like almost trying to think of words. If you were just trying to think of English words, if I move into my thymus, it is expanding. Is it working well? Is it not working well? If I am in my spine and working with my immune cells, is the population big enough, or does it need to get bigger? If I'm in my microbiome, it is, do I have? That comes sort of like numbers. Like, is there billions of this or billions of that? So those are the kinds of languages, and really what I really suggest is finding those words and just staying in that language, so that when you're moving into an organ and you're starting to do this, or you're moving into your legs or your bones, which we're going to do in the exercises, you're not just like floating into the world and then you're going to start thinking of just like I don't know what, but you can actually sort of limit the conversation, and then once you get the conversation up and going, then you can expand that conversation. Okay, so learn keywords. Study smart. So think about what is your internal native language, and that is, how do you try to communicate? What is important about your communication? So it is, we all have this like, how do I want to be heard? And if that's happening mentally, it's also happening inside your body physiologically, that your body is going to have a way that it languages. And again, that may be, is it a metaphor? Do I sort of think in metaphors, and does my body provide metaphors? Or with memories, if you have feelings, like if I have clients who I've seen 13 years ago, and they can come in and they're really amazed that I can remember all of these details about them. If I just was remembering that from fact, but when they've told me these experiences that they've had, I've had a feeling that logs and files that. And I don't think I'm unique in that. I think I might be tapped into it a little bit more, but we all have a way that we remember. And I have to tell you, as we get into this, you are going to be amazed at how much you love being in your own body, like talking to your organs. I love my organs. I mean, they are truly my best friends. Like, I just think my liver is so funny. She's like totally talks smack. Like, she is just, and my spleen. And we were talking, Gary and I, this was one of the examples that I said is, as I was trying to help Gary get into his spleen, and as he was doing this meditation, and he'd go through and he'd move through, and every time he'd get to his spleen, he'd fall asleep, and that was him. And he just kept saying, I'm just terrible, I can't do this, I just keep getting to the spleen. And I was like, oh, I forgot to tell you, when you get to your spleen, you're going to fall asleep. Like the spleen is like the constant talker. And once you actually connect to it and it feels your presence, it's like, oh God, I can rest. You're listening to me. So this is really amazing. And you have all these personalities, and the other thing, maybe it's just because I was like neglected as a child, but these like organs are like, they're the friends that you didn't have. Like some of them show up as the support that you didn't have to begin with. So that's sort of really kind of knowing what it is that you, how you can, that's going to be important as we go into the exercises. Okay, so now we're going to get into the thick of it. And we're going to first discern between two different types of ways to get messages. We're going to talk first about interoception or interoception, however you want to pronounce it. And that's like hardwired. So imagine that you have your smartphone on your car seat and it's not plugged in, or it's plugged in. The wire is plugged in and now it's playing over in your car. Okay, so that's like a hardwired experience. That would be interoception. The song that's on your phone is going through the wire and it's playing on there. That is the electrical and chemical messages exchanged between your mind and body. And that runs through your central nervous system. And that's a hardwire, and that's one way to intuit what your body is telling you. And then the other way is what I consider more intuition. Intuition is the nonlinear subtle energy that are exchanged from your body to your mind, or from someone else's body to your mind, and they do not have a connection. It's not neuron upon neuron upon neuron. It's not a pathway running through your body. So in the brain, we have beta, alpha, theta, and delta wavelengths, and those are the ones that are going to help you with that interoception. And those are really easy to start. And honestly, you don't really need to know the difference, but it is important if you are trying to intuit what's going on for someone else versus what's going on for you. But know that, again, gamma wavelength, this is, you saw that I was, at the beginning, it says almost PhD. I am getting my PhD in quantum medicine, and I am bringing forth the theory that gamma wavelengths, which are seen in people who've meditated for 20 years and monks, and I think highly intuitive people who are, I think that a lot of the medical intuitives that are running are tapping into this evolved gamma wavelength. So this is something that I think anyone can develop greater and more gamma wavelengths in your brain and start tapping into that remarkable power. And we have it. We're all connected. We're all one. So those are the two different ways. Okay. So I want to talk, I was telling you at the beginning how I was 6 years old and walking around, slurring my words and had Parkinson's symptoms. And so that was what I learned were mirror neurons. So we have approximately 100 billion neurons, and it is our responsibility, whether we know it or not, to figure out how we're going to allocate those neurons. So if you think of Michael Phelps, he was born and he decided to allocate, hundreds of millions or millions and millions of his neurons to learning how to swim, to shaping his body, to doing all of those things that made him this incredible Olympic swimmer. And if you think of somebody who is addicted to drugs or to porn, they have allocated more and more of their neurons to porn or addiction. So it is our choice to decide sort of what we do. Now, when we're children, we don't know that. We have no idea. In fact, most adults don't realize that. So what was happening to me was we didn't realize that I had this very rare condition where I was allocating more and more of my neurons to mirror, and these neurons begin to pick up. We all have them, that when you are standing talking to someone, you're picking up their heart rate, you're picking up what's going on chemically for them, and that's good. We need that. We need that sort of threat assessment. Is this person safe? Is this person not safe? But what happens is you should only allocate a certain amount to getting that information. And if you have more than that, what starts to happen is that those neurons are diagnosing someone else's system, and it can't diagnose yours. It's my belief that a huge majority of anxiety sufferers are actually people whose central nervous system, their neurons, are from a childhood where things weren't safe, are actually diagnosing and pulling mirror neurons, sending that message up into their body, and they have the rest of their neurons are like, wait a second, you're not really with me. You're not actually diagnosing what's going on for your own liver, your stomach. So as we talk about this, I'm hoping that if there's 2 or 3 people in this room who suddenly have this aha moment of, oh my God, this is a lot of my problem, is that I have been allocating a lot of my neurons to mirroring other people. And what the end of this will do is get you to learn how to actually retrain those neurons to come back to yourself, and really start to intuit what's going on for your own body. So then you'll be able to do it one way or the other, where you can decide. And that's the nice thing, is once you realize what you're doing, you can move through whether you want to mirror what's going on for somebody else or whether you want to just do it. Okay, so we're going to get into the first exercise, and we're going to work with 3 different ways of using our intuition. And the first is, and the best, like, once you're really good at this, you're going to do these 3 things together all at once. So proprioception is the experience of actually knowing where you are on Earth. It is this sense of being able to feel yourself on Earth. You can start with, like, I'm in the United States, I'm in Massachusetts. You can shrink down, I'm now in a building, I'm in the basement of a building, I'm standing in front of people, I'm on my legs, and you can keep kind of micro coming back down until you get right into your body. Presence is actually presence to a specific thing in your body. So it's not being, like, present in this moment, it's bringing your presence so that you end up essentially, this is really cool, you get so present with your organ that you almost become that organ. So your nervous system starts to become, like, let's say you go in and you feel your liver, you become like a feeling sense of your liver. It's got like your whole body sort of could feel sludgy or angry or, happy. And then mind's eye. Mind's eye is your imagination, and using your mind's eye to go into your body and move through your gut, your lungs, anywhere and wherever you want to go. Okay. So what we're going to do first. Okay. So let's go ahead. Gary, can you turn the lights off for these, and then we'll turn them back on? So everybody just ground your feet. Ground. And for this one, I'll tell you when to open and close your eyes. So close your eyes and really just try to ground into your body. Maybe ground into your spine or your hips. And then see if you can feel a total connection to oneness, to a sense of consciousness sort of flowing through your body. Feel it maybe moving through your arms. And now think of the thing that you feel you don't have enough of. And this could be immunity, it could be money, it could be courage, just anything that you just feel like you don't have enough. And now imagine that your body has these trillions of cells. Sort of turn yourself into those trillions of cells. And now connect to somewhere in the universe where this vibration of what you need is floating around. And just pull it into you, pull it into your cells. Notice if there's any belief that you don't deserve it, that you can't have it, or if there was just this wonderful vibration that pulled in. Okay, so open your eyes. So that's using consciousness. That's those gamma wavelengths where you're taking a vibration that is out there, and through sort of that double slit experiment, it is able to be right here, right with you in this second. You don't have to go anywhere for it. Okay, we're going to do the next one. And now, this is your circulatory system, and you can actually choose to do it two different ways. One is through the pathways of your vessels, your arteries and veins, or you can just feel your blood throughout your body. So go ahead and close your eyes. And first, try to feel the veins and the arteries. Feel the warmth of your blood. And ask your blood cells if they're getting enough oxygen. And ask your blood cells if they have enough iron. Go ahead and ask or feel, actually, if your blood is clean. Is it getting cleaned by your kidneys well? And then move into your heart. Just the physiological part of your heart that pumps the blood. And ask your heart what it needs, just on a physical level. And then go ahead and ask what it needs on an emotional level. This one. So now this one is taking all of the cells that make up your organs. So just pick. I picked the ones that are really easy. So we've got muscle cells, heart cells, liver cells, stomach cells. Very easy are your femur, your bone cells. So just pick one and know that right there in your body in these areas, you're going to actually focus. So you're first going to do that proprioception, here I am, and then you're going to go into that presence of your arm muscle, your heart muscle, your liver, wherever it is that you pick, your femur, and then you're going to start to move around in your mind's eye and sort of swim around. So go ahead ahead and close your eyes. And since we all may be picking something different, just keep zooming in. And with those words, see if you can feel anything from those cells, that population. And thank all of those cells for making up that muscle, that liver, that stomach, those bones. And if you've never done this, really just say, I'm so sorry I never checked in on you. Okay, great. Now we're going to do exercise 2. And this is actually finding the pathway. So if you think about it, when you were little and you were a year old and you're sitting on the high chair and you were trying to pick the Cheerios, you could not pick Cheerios up and put them in your mouth. You actually had to make that neural pathway. You had to actually make a neural pathway. And so really what medical intuition is deciding that you are, rather than having an external pathway, neural pathway, you're making the choice to make new pathways down into your body. This is really all that it is it is instead of picking up a Cheerio on the outside of me, I'm going to pick up a message on the inside of me. So we're going to first, the easiest one is our enteric nervous system, which is the nervous system right in our stomach. So I want you just to, again, close your eyes, ground down, and literally in your mind's eye, make a path down to your stomach. And feel if it's calm, if it's nervous. Is it acidic or alkaline? Is it empty or full? And now we're going to do harder. So go ahead and open your eyes. That one's easy because, again, you're probably using interoception where you actually, there's nervous system and it goes right up your central nervous system. But now, this one, even though your liver, which is the purple one, and the white is your pancreas, even though those do have connections through your vagus nerve, it's a little bit harder for people to actually feel and connect to their liver or to their pancreas. But we're going to go ahead and do it. So it's just making a little bit harder path. And again, this is going to become easier as you do this more and more. So go ahead and close your eyes. And move down to your liver. Your pancreas. Just see what conversation you can pick up. Any emotions. It's really good to personify these organs and glands. See if you have a bully somewhere in there. So these are definitely exercises that if you do more and more and more, you'll just get better. Okay, thank you, Gary. Okay, so seeking real life practice. When you leave here, the things that you're going to want to do on a day-to-day basis to get better at this is wake up in the morning and ask your body what food it eats. I can spend an entire day just eating carrots. Like, if that is what I wake up in the morning and that's what my body needs, that is what I will eat. I went on like a 4-day binge of almonds like 3 weeks ago, and it is just what my body needed. Trust that. Really, really trust that. Before you actually go to the bathroom, guess what color your urine is going to be, and also the shape of your poop. That's actually really fun, and no cheating. Like, don't push and then guess. You got to be like, okay, I can't even feel this. I don't know anything about it. I'm just gonna guess. Number 3, personify your organs, your glands, and your cells. Really make a personality. Find who your liver is. I promise you, it's going to be one of your closest friends. You are going to trust it. We have such trust issues. When you get inside your body, your body's not going to lie. Your own liver's not going to tell you something because it wants to manipulate you. It's just going to tell you what it needs to tell you. It's amazing. I spend too much time with my organs. Ask your bodies questions all the time. Really, truly, just nonstop. Like, I can just be asking my ears something once in a while. Or, they were sampling the chocolate, and I'll do something like, did my skin like this chocolate? Like, my stomach might have liked that, but does my skin like it? And then clear and clean at bedtime. One of the things that I did when I was struggling as a child and young adult was to do something that I've actually turned into a part of my business, which is called Medigration. And what it was and what it is I actually began to realize that I could not only learn about my body, but I could physiologically heal the things that were going on. So I could move into my hypothalamus and change it, move into my pituitary gland and change it. And so I was like, wow, I'm doing this all the time. I really would love for people to be able to do this as well. And so these are pioneering their condition-based meditations. It's online at Medigration if you want to. There are some they're free, so you can listen and see if it's something that you would, that it would help, because each and every one of them actually, for instance, this is the anxiety series, and I bring you on these into, for instance, number 4, rebalancing your anxious microbiome. So if you can't figure out how to get into your microbiome, this will teach you and pull you right in there. So that's really helpful as an exercise. Learn the culture of your body. This is what I was talking about being personifying. The kidneys are like, oh, we're not filtering so good, we're a little scared, and your liver's going to probably be, liver tends to hold anger, so it's probably going to be like, my liver definitely talks smack. And my lungs are just sort of like a little more hip. And when you do that, after you do that, relate to it. And what I mean by that is, you'll be sitting there, and obviously not in this room right now, it's hard, but if you were laying down and you started to actually hear these things, what it gives you this opportunity is these like aha moments to see that what's happening in your body and what your body is telling you is happening in your life. There's nothing different. So I've got some pretty toxic thoughts, people, or an environment in my life. And then you go back down to your body and be like, which one is it? Who is it? Oh, I thought she was so nice. And that's, your body will be like, duh, we were telling you this the whole time. So really relate to that. And then practice and build confidence. So doing more and more practice. And then we're going to do this. So I wanted to give you what I can do in my medical intuition to have you see the ability for you to do this. So, I can, and I get geeked out because I love, anatomy and physiology, but these are all different ways that you can get into your body and start to ask questions. You can find out about metabolic pathways. You can see if your glands are weak. You can, Gary and I, for some reason, I think because he's geeky too, when I'm connecting with Gary, it will usually be down to like an element. And if I'm talking to somebody else, it might be more emotional or, blocks or relationship imbalances. If somebody's taking your energy, you can see that in your body. So, okay, exercise 3. This is going to be really fun. And you get a prize that you're going to go home with. So, the first thing is, this one we're going to do with the intuition, which is the gamma. So, without holding this, you are all going to, this is energy, and let me see how much time I have. Great, okay, so I work with a lab out in Oregon, and what they do is, it's Energy Tools International, and they have me make and test energy so that they are, it's like subtle energy, the quantum energy of something. A little bit, the best way to think of it is like homeopathic remedies. So this is an energy from that lab. And what I want you all to do is I want you just allow your imagination and also feel into your body. Run the gamut. Feel into relationships. Feel into what, do you like this energy? Do you not like this energy? Is this energy warm? Is it safe? Do you want some of this energy? Is there somebody in your life that needs this energy? Totally. What's great about this is the place that you are allowed all the judgment in the world. Like, this is the best part about being in your body and doing this kind of energy work, is like, I hate that energy. Okay. All right, so tell me, give me words and what people felt from that energy. Yeah.
Spaciousness.
Okay, good. Yeah.
I felt like it was medicinal.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
I felt like it was love.
Oh, yeah. Okay, great. Yeah.
That too.
Yeah.
Unblocking.
Perfect. Yep. All of these are. Yep.
Strength.
Oh my gosh, you guys are gonna love when you hear what this energy is. Yep.
That energy is the bomb.
Yeah! Oh my gosh, you were really gonna love when you hear what it is. Gary, do you have any? Do you want to guess?
No, but I felt I was leaning forward,
Okay, like you wanted to.
drawn.
Yep. Yep.
My thought was just give me a lot of it.
Yep.
My body's
Yep.
When you first picked it up, I felt very tingly, like tingles.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
I thought we all could use it.
Okay, good. Yep.
Like very inquisitive, that was like the answer.
Oh, I love that. Okay, yes. Yep.
Clarifying.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Tell us.
I know. This is, you guys are going to be blown away if you remember what everyone was saying. This is the energy to heal men's prostates, to bring them into a higher level of consciousness and emotional connection to themselves, to strengthen their power on the earth in a more conscious way through their prostate.
Wow. Did I have a box?
Yes! So that was, and if you notice, well, you had tingly, but those people who were like, I want that energy, that is really pretty amazing.
That's the bomb.
Yeah, that's the bomb. Yeah, yep. Okay, so now what we're going to do is everybody, we're going to pass these around and take one and know that you are picking the right energy, and even if you're the last person in the room and there's only one energy, the group has picked the energy that you actually needed. So pick it and first put it in your lap so you're not really connected to it, so that everybody kind of starts at the same time. And I promise there's not a prostate one in here, so that's kind of a trick.
While that's going on, isn't it interesting that it's 99.9% women were drawn
Yeah.
this lecture.
And one of the
So
guys
maybe-
left.
He had an appointment, but maybe that shows that women are more in tune. They were drawn to the energy, and we're sort of oblivious.
Isn't it about too?
Yeah.
Isn't it about being right?
Yeah, this is why we're all like, we need this. We need, half the room to be men. That would be fantastic.
Well, men embodying vanity.
This energy, exactly.
Oops.
Yeah.
Don't throw her out.
And the man in the lab who takes this is like the bomb. Yeah, he really is. And he's 83. Yeah.
I was talking with someone yesterday, and they said one woman is so hard leading with leadership among men and women. And then we were talking and said, because we can see the problems ahead and we take care of little things at the same time. Men, they just ignore and they react with like, they have to make the solution right away and they call a woman. That's why I think it's a big difference, and that's why we get more sick than men as well.
Yeah. I think also one of the things that happens, right or wrong, is that confidence is derived essentially 99% from action, and women are held back from action when we're little. You see us in second grade and we're raising our hands, and then by like fourth grade it's like, nah, don't reach for that, don't grab for that. And so action, good or bad, like if we look at some of the people who are just acting, it still gives them confidence to act. And women are much more fourth chakra, and men are more third chakra, action, and so they get more and more confidence in their actions. And so, our time's coming. Did everyone get one?
No.
Okay. All right.
Did everybody get the same one? Or
No,
it's
yeah,
different?
they're all different. There might be a couple that are like, there might be 3 that are the same.
And one.
Yeah, we're just waiting.
Oh, you got it? Gary, did you get one? Okay, great. Okay, so go ahead and do you want to turn the lights on again? You just get grounded in our. And just like that, exactly like decide. Yes, awesome. Okay, so the first thing is just feel if you can feel it in your hands. Close your eyes and get an immediate yes or no. And then place it on your body wherever it wants to go. And then bring it actually right into whatever organ. It could be, and remember your brain, your throat, heart, lungs. And then ask the energy if it has a message for you. Ask it for a number, 1 through 8. And ask it for a number 1 through 10. Thank the energy for being on the earth. Thank the energy for connecting to you. Thank all of your cells for connecting to that energy. And so now these are yours to keep, unless you didn't like your energy. And unwrap it and see what they are. Some of them are a little bit, some might have like something called bioplasma, and I'll explain that energy, but a lot of them. The first number that I asked you to intuit for yourself is how many drops you would put in your drink each time you took it. And the second number would be how many weeks would it be good for your body to take this energy. If your body said the first question was, I like this energy. So I was so curious, who over here immediately put it to their head? What was that energy? Okay, yes, all right, yeah. That makes sense. Remind me of that. That sort of thyroid and all of that, so awesome. Does anyone have an energy that they either it didn't hit, or did they want to share, or they don't know what their energy
Can I
is?
see what this
Yes,
is? I was here and I didn't
want. Yep. Yeah.
What's I don't even know how to say this. Australia?
Boswellia. Can you talk about Boswellia?
Boswellia is an Ayurvedic herb. It's very good for inflammation throughout the body. It works with the body to calm down the inflammation.
And did it speak to you in that way about, was it calming or?
I wasn't feel anything, but when you said put it to like an organ, it immediately went to like where I felt pain, like I slept weird.
Pain and inflammation.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. What's wonderful about these energies are that when you drink them, they move in and they move right into the body. I mean, you don't even really have to drink them. You can throw them in your bag. You can just put them anywhere. But the energies are able. They have a sort of a honing device in them. Yes.
Formula AC.
Yeah. So Formula AC is their anti-cancer formula. So it moves in, and if you like, we have apoptosis. Thank you. Which is when your cells are supposed to kill themselves, and this helps keep that so that cells that are ready to die off, and it's a really nice anti-cancer. Yes.
So I got AC improved trace minerals.
Yeah, the same thing. Anti-cancer, a good supportive killing off cells.
I got Formula MK. Oh, okay. Yes. So this is healing. Healing sexual trauma. So that is anything from big expanse of sexual trauma, reproduction, sort of like masculine, feminine. It doesn't just mean that, but it's got a healing. Yes. So this is funny, I was focusing on a different organ, but I had just got over bronchitis like 5 days ago, and I had and I'm still feeling the
And
effects
you
of
picked
cough.
it. That's awesome. Nice job. Yep.
So
I got
weird.
the regret. This is kind of weird because I think it's the same MK, it's somebody else.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I had acupuncture last week, and I was weak on my left and strong on my right.
Yes.
And then my massage therapist says I'm more masculine than feminine.
Yes.
Yeah.
There, that helps balance. So
like,
healing sexual trauma can be, I was only allowed to be more masculine, or I was only allowed to be feminine.
I
Exactly.
need to act like the guy in the house.
Yes. Yep. Perfect. Yes.
I have Q strength. Yeah. And that's trace minerals.
Oh, okay. Q strength is it's more sort of bone. It's like it's like the quantum energy that comes in bone. So that's it. And I just want to respect time. I would keep doing this and all of that.
You mentioned bioplasma.
Oh yes, bioplasma. Did anyone else get bioplasma? So bioplasma is from some coral. It's from like not in the coral reef, but it's somewhere in the ocean. It is so powerful. If you take bioplasma with other supplements, it directs them so fast to where it's like this fast-moving energy. Yeah.
I got a adaptogen.
Okay, Gary, do you want to talk about adaptogens?
Adaptogens they basically help your body do what it's trying to do, to adapt. So if you're very stressed and you take an adaptogen, it can help you, if you don't need to be in fight or flight, calm down to baseline. The wonderful thing is, if somebody takes, let's say, an adrenal adaptogen and everything is fine, they'll say, not worth the money, it doesn't do anything. So it works with your body to help it do what it's trying to do but can't at the moment.
Mistletoe?
Mistletoe is literally the mistletoe. Like the mistletoe, the energy of mistletoe. That's big. I guess people love that, sort of the love and all of that.
When you asked us to ask our bodies yes or no,
Mhm.
I got a no. Does that mean that I don't need the thing that I got?
Yeah, probably. And then what you would do is you would look at emotionally. Do you mind if we do it just to the crowd?
Yeah.
So you got a no to yours.
got
I just didn't want.
That's fine.
Okay.
Just like a really strong no.
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 And what was
It
that?
just says water.
Okay. What was your no? Yeah, it is.
I don't know, but it was like, just don't even get it, don't know.
You didn't like it. So this is just because she allowed me. Adrienne is incredibly emotional. She has so much sort of Scorpio, Cancer energies. And this could be that I really don't need any more emotions because water, this specific energy is about the elements versus like H2O. So fire, water, air. So she'd be like, no thank you. But if we had given her fire, or metal or something like that. So that makes a lot of sense.
No, I don't want it.
Oh, sorry. I handed her another one.
I got Oxygen Plus, which is interesting because I asked when you asked the blood cells, they said yes, you do need more oxygen.
There you go. Nice. Yep. Yes.
Healthy mouth.
Healthy mouth is helping the microbiome in the mouth. So I take Healthy Mouth and I put it in my water pick toothbrush little thing every night, and then it just changes the bacteria, supports the bacteria that comes into your mouth. So I would take that at night.
Okay.
Yes.
I got H2 wow.
H2 Wow. So that is similar to this. That's Labs H2 infused. So it does I believe this does it. It's going to do it way more on the physical level. That would be incredibly supportive to support that. You're not going to see the results that something like this would give you, where it's just boom going right in, but it does help with hydrogen. Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah, Vital Force. So Vital Force, the name of the company is Energy Tools International, but it's the Vital Force technology. It's how they actually get these algorithms. And so it is essentially that energy it just aligns you that whatever cells in your body, whatever they're supposed to be doing, boom, they just do it on a quantum level. Okay. So that's it, yes.
Just as an aside,
Yeah.
that lab is the company we buy our cell phone chips that we have in the store.
Oh, I didn't
Which
realize
I
that.
didn't know that either.
Oh my gosh.
All the ones we're getting a more positive response from their chips than what we've had from others we've carried.
And my energy is in those chips. I derived that formula. That's really cool. I didn't know that. We didn't plan that.
What are cell phone chips?
Cell phone chips are, so we have, they are, this one is an old one, but there are little copper threads in this one, and it has actually the energy to take the radiation. It doesn't block because you really can't, it changes the radiation, and it's tested, we have tested it in labs, and I have the paperwork and everything, that it reduces radiation by about 80%. MRIs and things have been done on these. And that was, remember the first exercise we did, the one where I was like, bring in whatever you need? So the lab has me hold these mineral waters and actually bring those energies into my body, and that's how we get the vibration of the different things, and that's how we got the vibration of this. And then they have this enormous radio, it's crazy, and then they turn the algorithms and stuff like that into these vibrations. Okay, I know that we are signed up the first 10 people today. I will sit down and do medical intuitive read, and then anyone else I will call or text or email, whatever you want, and we can do 10 minutes. You can use this 10 minutes either A, to check out your own medical intuitive. I really want this to have been an empowering, that it's about how powerful you are at this. Or you can totally just be like, tell me what my liver's doing, you know, what do I need, what formula, what do I need? Any questions before? Yes.
I just want to give a little bit of a testimonial. I've been working with Laura for almost 6 years-ish, right?
Yeah.
And she's saved my life, essentially. But with the metagrations, I've had a personal metagration that literally helped me reset my nervous system. I feel that so just this website alone, and you can go get these free metagrations, and we didn't plan this either,
Yeah.
but I just want to say these are so powerful, and I think we all feel the power of this, and these lead you to your power and can literally change your
Physiology.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
so
mean, she
how-
just reset her nervous system by doing these. It was, yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Another
I
question?
just have a question. What's cells longevity?
Cells longevity is that it helps your cells, the strong, healthy cells, stay longer. It's a good aging. It strengthens them. It works with just their own mitochondria. I will check and see exactly how they work. Oh, yes.
Quickly on the mirror neurons.
Yes.
Thinking about if you're not with someone, thinking about teenagers,
Yes.
social media, are they doing the mirror neuron thing even remotely?
Yes, because
Okay, is that-
these younger generation, this is what I'm talking
Sure.
about also in my PhD, is that there is an increase in the gamma wavelengths, and that's why they're like,
Right.
but it is also
So
that
just
they're
yeah,
picking
not just
up,
a person. Okay.
like, no, yeah, and your gamma wavelengths can mirror just as well.
Okay.
You know.
Thank you.
Yes, yep.
All right, so those of you that are the first 10, if you check with us upstairs, once Laura gets started, we can give you a ballpark of around when to be here. You're welcome to stay, but you're welcome to come back too, because 10 of them,
And if
that'll be
you
like
decide-
2 hours.
Yeah, because 10 times 10, it's 100 minutes from now. Honestly, if you are number 10 or only the first 3 people want to stay, I'll do the 10 minutes over Skype or a call. I can understand not wanting to spend 100 minutes waiting.
She never went around.
Oh, we have it right out here, and
Thank you,
anyone
everyone.
that
Thank you.
needs. And we'll all be up